Tell me what the hell are you scared of when in the end the only
Where's the love? Right here on this podcast. Welcome to Love Drop, where your hosts and One Love ambassadors, Charles and Diane, will share love, hope, and inspirational topics taken from their journey and world events. We will also include on-location recordings and special pop-up guests from cool places all around the world. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
whether big or small, love never fails. Oh, love that conquers all, love never fails.
Welcome to another episode of Love Drop Podcast. We are so excited to be here with a very good friend that we met in real life in this virtual world that we now live in. Everything is Zoom and WhatsApp and camera to camera. And this is our friend in real life. And we're so glad to have him on the show talking about making it happen.
Making
Charles.
it happen. James Demarco is here with us to share just a few things about making it happen. And with that said, James, will you introduce yourself to our listening audience?
Yes, Charles and Diane, thanks for having me. Love seeing you guys again and spending time here to talk about making it happen. So I live in New Jersey. I'm from Philadelphia and met Charles and Diane on my travels. But for the last, I would say, 30 years, I've been trying to make it happen in my life and pursuing my dreams that I've had that started when I was really a kid. And like Charles and Diane, you said that you have that nudge and that calling. And I always felt that since I was a kid, really. And that was to work in show business somehow. And, that's not a normal career that parents want their children to have. So there was opposition, but I still kind of stayed my path, and I've worked in the entertainment industry this whole time for at least 30 years. And then during that time, I took a leap into the beauty world and became an esthetician and makeup artist. And then I decided to combine that with my TV and film entertainment industry business. So I know, I guess, a little bit about taking those leaps and making it happen. And so thanks for having me today.
Well, yeah, James, and thanks for being here. And you're very modest because you did not only take those leaps, but you took the leaps in a big way. I mean, you, my friend, are an award-winning makeup artist and also just really someone who will not allow a closed door to stop you. I'm going to take that off of something I heard you speak on here recently. You will go for the window, you'll go for the back door, you'll go for the side door. So, yeah, just tell us a little bit about your journey in the entertainment industry and just a little bit because we're going to fast forward to where you're at right now and the amazing things that you're doing. So, yeah.
So, like I said, the journey began as a child. Not everybody's fortunate to realize their dreams when they're young, but I always knew I loved, films and television. I would sit in the summers and watch show after show and rent videos at the video store when they were around. Back then for 99 cents. You can't even watch a movie for 99 cents anymore.
Right.
So it was good times. And, I chose my high school and my college based on that dream. I wanted to be somewhere that had classes and actually a TV studio that I could work at. And so that was really instrumental. And in high school, it meant traveling an extra hour every morning and commuting 2 hours home to live that dream. I didn't go to the normal high school everyone went to. I chose a school an hour away. So we carpooled with a neighbor that was going there as well. My mom took me. It was sacrificing, and on the way home when I didn't have my license yet, it took me 2 hours. I took two buses and a trolley to get home. So when I have a dream as far as my career goes, I really stop at nothing, and I don't know where the strength came from. I know where it came from now, but back then I just kept going, and so it drove me into the entertainment field. I worked at NBC in New York after college. I was in their page program. I did a lot of internships in college. So with any type of career goal, there are sacrifices, and I worked for free for like 3 summers. I got college credit, but I still worked for free. And I had a lot of internships under my belt. I actually had a paying job also at a radio station in Philly. And so I did that as well. And then after college, I couldn't get a job. So I took a job in the legal world as a file clerk for the courts. And, it kind of was a downer, but I felt like it was a regrouping for me. And I needed that time to get good sleep and to see where, as you would call it, the next assignment would be. Except I didn't think of it back then in those terms. I only thought of it like, I'm not making it happen. What's going on? So I started saying eventually after a year and a half, okay, it's got to get out of the kitchen. What do they say? If you can't take the fire, get out of the kitchen, something like that. I went to New York, packed my bag of resumes, and I went to every TV station I could and gave out my resumes. And someone was put in my path at NBC that told me the job to apply for. So I sat there in the mailroom and wrote out my cover letter, folded it up, gave it to the mail guy, and then I got a call about 4 months later, and I was shocked. And it wasn't my timing, it was divine timing. So I took the leap. I went to New York, and I got the job as a page, and I commuted 2 hours every day in the morning and at night, so I can maintain my relationship I was in. And that led me down this path that I've been on ever since. And then I got to a point where wasn't living in that joy, and I wanted something more. What prompted me to make that leap was I was being sexually harassed at work. So I packed my stuff up one day and left.
Wow.
And yeah, and I said, you know what? This is the time. I'm going to go be a makeup artist. I'm going to go paint because I love to paint, and I love skincare. And so I took that time and went back to school for that. And then, I eventually worked back in TV and film with it through meeting other people in places I put myself in, and they guided me back to that industry in a different way. And it was fulfilling for so long. And my dream for so long was to win a daytime Emmy. I had it on my vision board. I went to every party, every award show I could until I got a job on the shows I wanted to work on. And it happened in 2007. And I flew myself out to LA every year, and credit card debt, everything to achieve that dream. And I got the job, and I was nominated for an Emmy, 2 years later. And the show that I worked on, we won it for makeup. And then I went on to win a couple more for other shows I worked on. So it was a full circle moment for me. And that was how I made that part of my dream happen all those years. I just didn't give up. I did whatever I had to do. I put myself in the situations to meet the people to support me. I didn't know when it was going to happen. It was frustrating. It wasn't easy. And you know all about that.
Yes, for sure. So, a couple of themes that were reoccurring. One, perseverance. You did not give up. Two, sacrifice. You sacrificed your time, and even volunteered to get to that dream. 3, courage, because you had the courage to walk away from a toxic environment when you were being sexually harassed on a job, right? And 4, courage to go back in and learn it a different way. So you went and trained again to learn a different skill set in order to fulfill your dream. So you went in beauty. And so then from your vision board, you have Emmys in hand. How many Emmys?
I have 4.
Wow, 4 Emmys. You had 1 on the vision board and you got 4 Emmys. So, that's huge and a really big testament to making it happen. It's not microwavable at all. It is definitely something that goes into the slow cooker. But when you think about the taste, right? The slow cooker makes it so much better. It tastes so much better than microwave. You get it fast, but you don't get the taste of it. Charles?
Yes, and some of the things that I got from your early determination to get to where you wanted to go. Catching 2 bus and a trolley, unheard of today. I don't like the teacher, I don't like the school, I'm out of here. But here it is, you were determined then, and that just formed a foundation for who you are today. And
Yes.
you continue to build on that. No doors are being closed for you when there's a window, a chimney, any way of getting in there, you were doing it.
Thank you. Yes, definitely. I was doing it, and it was like the wind. You know how it is. The wind was just blowing me, and I had, I had a lot of anxiety about it, but I didn't really focus that it would never happen. It was just a matter of how and when. But I knew I did have to leave, home to achieve it. So I tried to be as patient as I could as a kid. And of course, there were other distractions that kept me busy.
Yeah,
But you're
so-
right. You're right, Charles. In today's world, everybody wants things quick. And a lot of the school kids today and the kids, I don't want to generalize, but it's a very entitled generation that we live in. They think that it's owed to them without the work put in.
Yeah, they want it. Yeah, they want it right now. And then you pointed out another good thing about you. You don't have to be a doctor to have patience.
Yeah.
And you have,
I like that.
and you have a lot of patience in going through what you've gone through and staying focused. That's a big thing, and it's needed out there today.
Another thing is once you reach your pinnacle, so like we were talking because we had the pleasure of being on your podcast and we're kind of segueing into that now, but once you reach your pinnacle, you're at the top. So rational mind would say, well, yeah, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to ride this out for as long as I can. But being the type of person that you are, right? You're not going to be settled into anything, not even on a high. It's like, what's next, right? You'll enjoy it, but then it's what's next. So, okay, you get the awards, you get all the glitz and glam and doing the makeup for, just different artists and, all these famous people, parties, movies, all of that. And then at some point, it's just like, okay, you know what? This was good, but now I need to make something else happen. So talk to us about that. So you're 4 Emmys in, and now, okay, so what's next? So what are you making happen now?
So it's funny when you say what's next, because back in 2009, when I won my first Emmy, I went to a spa and it had a view of the ocean in Atlantic City. And I had my journal with me because I have journals right next to me that I had this whole time. So I could go back and see the struggle that I felt and the pain and also the triumph. And so I remember writing, well, now that I have my Emmy, what's next? And I wrote that, and I made a list of other things that interested me, and what else can I do in beauty? And one of those things, was I wanted my own product line. So I went to all the shows to find labs and packaging. And then I was trying to get backing. And I had three different backers that were interested. Two of them went bankrupt, and one of them just strung me along. So it was very disappointing, but I kept that dream for another 10 years, okay, which hit in 2019. And in 2019, I sent a tape to QVC because they were searching for new products. Now, my dream from 2009 to 2019 was to be on QVC. I wanted to have my own product because I felt that I needed to be seen and teach about beauty, not just have it verbal. And that was the best platform. But I didn't give up on that. And I said I was going to do it myself. So I redid the product. I found a new manufacturer. I made a video. QVC brought me in before their whole board, and I won their contest for my product.
Nice.
Great.
And that was another pinnacle moment. That might have been more important. No, it was just as important as the Emmy, because that was a dream I had for 10 years. And I didn't talk about it a lot to anyone. But once I got to that dream and it was achieved, I had to still jump over all the hoops. And there was a lot of red tape. And then COVID happened and it changed the course of that dream. So I did pivot back, and I said, you know what? It was just as good for me to win that contest and to meet with them than it was to be on the air. I don't need to be on air for that product, because you know what? I don't like that product anymore. It's 10 years later. I would rather be on QVC for my coffee than I'm hoping to launch, or for a pet attire, than for the beauty. So in making it happen, my new chapter is to find the things that bring me joy, like doing a podcast, because I did work in radio and I like hosting. And I went to school for broadcasting originally to be a broadcaster. And all my internships were in TV to anchor news. So doing the podcast, launching, I'm working right now on my logo and my labeling for my coffee package, because I love coffee and I want to develop the coffee business. And I also am back now in writing films and documentaries for stories, including my story, to help other people get inspired. So they're the things that I'm working on now to make it happen. And it is more joyful because I don't feel the pressure to confine to society. Now, it's not always in direct flow some days. The money doesn't always come in because I'm not doing the same type of work full time anymore. And last year I had to pivot again because I was injured on the job in film. So it gave me time to regroup and focus on what brings me joy. And anybody out there, I think that's important, is to always step back to refocus and see where you need to go and how you could go about it, but to be open to whatever organic life presents itself.
Ooh, that was a lot, James.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
That was a lot. I was like, whoa. But I am familiar with you, my friend, and I have just watched you just process through the things that bring you joy. And that's one thing that I respect and appreciate about you, because you will just see it through. Even if it's a dud, you're going to just go through the process, see how it resonates with you. If something resonates with you, James, you are doing it. It doesn't matter what the outside chatter, you just have a way of keeping it outside and staying focused on what it is that you want to do. And that it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to experience and watch. And when you say you're going to do something, you do it.
You're going to do it.
And that is just very inspiring too, because a lot of people talk the talk, but they don't walk the talk. And so that is one of the things that Charles and I are intentional about in our life, in our journey. And just seeing the same in you is inspiring. It's
Yeah.
inspiring to see others
And
doing that.
and some of the big things that I've seen in James since day one, if something will come out of nowhere, it doesn't stop James. Well, I'll go around that. And then if something else comes, I'll go around that. But I'll continue to move forward. And even if a person would fall on their face, they know they're moving forward. And you're just going forward with any and everything. Your creativity is phenomenal. It is truly phenomenal. You come up with something. Where did that come from? Your creativity is ongoing. So, James, you're just forward momentum all the way.
All the way.
Oh.
And I mean, I
Oh,
think you drive more than we do.
Yes.
We're driving now. We drive. We're in that car, but dude, that's like James. Where you? Oh, I'm on my way to North Carolina.
Yes.
Oh, I'm getting ready to go to Sedona. Oh, I'm on a plane. Me and Esther are on the plane. What? So it's just like people always ask us where in the world we are. When I text you, I'm always, where you
yeah.
at, James? Where in the world are you these days? Yeah.
Well, I
So
think that's what I've learned as I've gotten older, and I know you can attest to it. Just by traveling, uh, you could travel 20 miles outside of your radius. You meet new people, new scenery. It brings you inspiration, and then, as you've always said, people are put in your path to get you to the next step, and I just think that's so important. To put yourself out there and travel, like for you guys and for me, that's important to me. That's why I like to travel. It gives me inspiration, that creativity.
yes, for sure. For sure. So, we were talking about the podcast, Make It Happen podcast. I mean, what an apropos name for a podcast for you. Tell us a little bit about that journey. Where did the name come from? And was this your genre from the start? Talk to us a little bit about that.
So I wanted to do a podcast for a long time, but I always it's not the right time. I don't have the right equipment. It needs to be professional, and that's just because that's what I went to school for. So I have a level of expectation for myself. And back in 2020, I found a studio to do a podcast called Beauty Revolution. And I did 3 interviews where I interviewed people in the beauty industry, doctors, skincare specialists, and I wanted to ask them, about what they did and also the evolution of beauty and how it's changed over time, as far as internal beauty as well. That was my spin on it. So I've always wanted to do something that's more spirit focused and inspirational. And but COVID happened and it changed everything, and I wasn't able to complete it. So I wasn't sure over the years what I would do. And then the last 5 months I came up with Making It Happen, probably because it's actually on a small vision board I have. That was my first name. I wrote Making It. And I kept going back and forth and changing it. Oh, the public won't like it. The public won't like it. And then I was like, who cares what they like? It's what I like. And Making It came from, I used to listen to the song Make It Happen by Mariah Carey in the 90s. And that
Right.
song was my anthem and got me through the dark days when I needed to push forward. So that's where Making It came from, dreamers catching their dreams from that. So I decided that instead of doing something superficial and talking about outer beauty, I wanted to focus on the meat and potatoes of what's in your spirit and soul to get you to your dreams. And it is a risk because a lot of people that follow me are in the industry I work in, and they expect me to just do makeup. They don't expect me to take leaps and do 5 different types of careers. They're all focused on just one thing. So that bothered me, but I still did it anyway because this is everyone's time to shine, and you have to be true to yourself. So
Yeah.
this is me. This is my way of being true to myself.
Wow, I love it. I love it. So your podcast is out there. Where can we listen? Where can listeners find your podcast?
So it's on Spotify, iTunes, and iHeart. And it's on my website for the podcast, which is makingitpodcast.com. MAKINIT podcast.com. And it's also on my YouTube channel, which is James Demarco. And then I have another YouTube, which is Making It Podcast. So that's where it is. And we're going to see where it goes. But right now, I'm just having fun interviewing people and hearing their stories and kind of giving people that inspiration like you both do on how to navigate and take the leaps and level up and follow those divine assignments that come up to make your dreams happen.
Yes, yes.
That is just truly phenomenal. And thanks for giving all the information out there for our listening audience to connect with you, because there's a wealth of knowledge contained in James.
Oh yeah, for sure. So James, what tip, if you had one thing to tell someone right now that's just trying to make it, and maybe they're just at that crossroad where they just need some inspiration, what would that inspiration be from you? What would you have to say?
Well, I had a magnet of two different magnets on my desk for years. They're famous quotes. One said, "No matter what, never, ever, ever, ever give up." And the other one was, "Life is not about finding yourself, life is about creating yourself." So those two magnets always stayed on my desk or my refrigerator. And I even brought them when I traveled to LA to make job connections, to get a job, just as a reminder. So I would tell listeners out there and viewers to never give up on yourself, never give up on who you are and what you know is true for you. And do not let other people, when you're in that space, discourage you. Everybody has your best interest, but only you know what you're capable of achieving and what you want to achieve. So it's just about really having that belief in your vision.
Wow. Well said. Well said. And thank you so much, my friend, for coming out here. You did say how you can reach the podcast, but I'm going to go to Charles's favorite question.
My favorite question, how would you best like our listening audience to get in touch with you?
Oh, my. They can email me. Actually, the best way to get a hold of me is follow me on Instagram. So the Instagram is at making it_podcast. That's my one Instagram. My other Instagram is JD Productions, JD_Productions Incorporated. So it's JD Productions Inc. So Instagram and DM me a message.
What I was going to say for our listeners that are not on Instagram, because I'm not on Instagram. So I know that you do you have a website or YouTube? I know the YouTube because there's some people who are not on Instagram.
Sure. Facebook, I'm under James Demarco with an E, Demarco, and YouTube is James Demarco as well. And email is my main website is jim@jimdemarco.com.
Gotcha. So you know what? If you send me those links, James, I will put them in the narrative here so that people can reach out, just the ways that they can reach out. And what if someone has an extraordinary story about making it happen, grasping that dream? What would be the best way to maybe contact you for a conversation to see if they fit for a guest?
They can email me at bookings@makingitpodcast.com. So bookings@makingitpodcast.com.
Awesome. So you'll give me that as well for the links. So
Yes.
all right, so we'll get all those links in the narrative. James, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your inspiration. And just thank
Thank
you.
you for your inspiration.
Oh,
And thank you for all the information that you've shared with us.
yes.
Greatly appreciate it.
And thank you for allowing me to check off my bucket list. A friend who's won Emmys. I just put that on yesterday.
Yes.
No,
Thank
but
you for being our friend.
yes,
Thank
we love
you.
you, James, and we appreciate your time. And we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. If you want to reach out for James, just look at all the links in the narrative. I'm telling you, he is amazing. He was very humble in his sharing, just a great, great, great human being. And with that, we're going to wrap it up. And we're
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me and spreading the love.
thank you
Yes.
for your yes. And
And
one love.
one love.
One love.
All right, let's all say it together. It's like, okay.
Okay.
Try. I'm not saying it's like we did a do 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 do. It's like a do 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 do. Okay, so
One
One
love.
love.
Never a second will I waste, never an opportunity to taste the sweetness of this life.
Thank you for tuning in to the Love Drops podcast.
Follow the challenges
Be sure to
of
follow
life.
this podcast and share the love with everyone you know.
Love it
Until
comes
next
so.
time, this is Charles and Diane
Love never,
signing off.
love never,
One love.
love it conquers all, whether big or small. Love never fails. Oh, love never, love it conquers all. Love never